All right, so look, let's move on. So let's talk a little bit now about anti-automation. And this is, again, something which is not necessarily wrong nor right in your implementation, but it's something worth thinking about. And we're already on the register page, so that's probably a good place to look at it. So you don't have any form of Captcha on here.
No.
Now, is that a conscious decision or an implicit position that you've arrived at?
Well, there's two thoughts on it, I think, and one of them is that Captcha it's annoying.
Yeah.
Because it's
unambiguously, I hate them.
I hate them.
Yeah.
They have become better because people starting to use real world signs.
Yeah.
So that's easier to read, but so user experience, it's bad.
Yeah. Yeah, and look, I mean, we all hate captchas. Like, nobody likes filling those things.
No.
I agree to your point as well, and it looks like Google and their reCAPTCHA implementation has been using more intelligence lately to try and look at other aspects of the request to figure out what is the likelihood that it is a bot versus a human.
I have seen that, yes. It says, we think you are not human or something to that effect.
So they've got a new implementation coming up which is literally like, we're almost certain you're a human, just click this link and you're good.
Yeah.
But what I'm finding with the traditional reCAPTCHA and even on Have I Been Pwned, I've got captchas on there in places that are going to perform certain actions. So if I go to say notify me, I've got a captcha there. But I find they're getting easier and easier, and what I'm often seeing now is I'm seeing like a 3-digit number.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so we're pretty sure you're a human. We're going to make it easy for you to confirm. So they're doing some sort of risk assessment.
I've seen some that are also very, very basic, like 2 plus 3. What's that?
Right.
You know, really quite, which is a 2-second thing, and you can always read it. That's always been my problem with captchas, is that some of them are just unreadable.
Yeah, so I don't think we need to debate the fact that nobody likes captchas. So let's talk about why you might need them for anti-automation.
Yep.
And it will really come down to what is the impact of bots registering here. So, I just showed you over here, I've got a captcha. So the impact on me is that, and again, thinking about the rate at which these things can happen, imagine you have those 40,000 IP addresses just hammering this. Imagine it went and got, say, the list of Adobe accounts, 152 million accounts linked in October 2003, 152 million email addresses. What would it mean if I had 152 million registrations in here really quickly? Well, the first thing it would mean is I'd send 152 million emails. That's going to cost me a heap of money.
Yes.
Because I pay per email. It's going to destroy my spam reputation.
Absolutely.
Because everyone who gets one of these, well, most people are going to go spam, 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 spam. And also, now I've got 152 million records in my database I've got to clean out. And frankly, I'm not quite sure how my system would perform if it had 152
No, that does
million.
sound pretty severe.
You know, it'd scale out, it'd auto-scale out, and I would pay Microsoft in order to support the spammers so that I could, anyway.
Then again, paid to, anyway.
It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
So in your case, it's kind of a question of, and let's take that hypothetical, what would happen if you had 152 million registrations go into here?
I would imagine this would crash. That's
or auto-scale?
I'm not sure how it's set up, to be honest.
Right.
But it could, and then it would still be very unpopular. But yeah, it would mean the system would be unusable. Like there would be an enormous amount of maintenance and restructuring.
So you've now got this sort of multitude of different factors that feed into this decision engine that you have to make. And I wonder whether you've reached this position explicitly, where you've sort of gone, okay, we understand the risk, we understand the likelihood, we understand the impact, and therefore we've gone, no, we don't need it.
Yep.
Or if it was implicit. But I think the discussion that would be worth you guys having is, all right, so first of all, what's the likelihood? Look, this is just a little website that's never going to be sort of front page news and a big target. It's not going to be Sony or something like that. Probably. I mean, I wish you all the best, but it's probably not going to be Sony. So that the likelihood is going to be low. Like the impact would be some convenience, or rather some inconvenience on the user, and that might actually be a more important thing because that's a barrier to entry.
Absolutely.
So we might not want to do that. But if we did actually get those 152 million in, it'd be a bit of a pain to deal with it, but the likelihood of it happening, very, very low, and we'd have to delete records. And
yeah,
I'd be on the fence. So I don't know if you send emails automatically on registration, but that might sort of tip me over a little bit.
Yeah, well, certainly, just in terms of cost, it would be quite the cost to send 152 million email addresses.
Yeah,
just as a basic example.
Yeah.
And if it's just an hour's or 2 hours work for a developer to put it in, well, maybe we can do that if it doesn't hinder the user experience.
Well, it will. That's the problem.
It will.
It's meant to. That's the whole purpose. Make it harder.
I know, but it is also a once-off thing.
Yeah, well, that's actually a very good point too. So we should touch on that. So registration is something that you should do once, unless you forgot that you're registered, like we spoke about before.
Yeah.
You would never want to put it on the login. It'd be
No.
so nasty on the login.
Exactly.
Yeah, I wouldn't go back to the site. But on the registration, which you do just once, and if it's one of those sort of adaptive ones that gives you a 3-digit number, maybe the value proposition's not so bad.
Yeah. Very good.